So we're back here on the Duncan Duo Show talking about the local real estate market with Mike Yates from Atlantic Bay Mortgage. I'm Andrew Duncan of the Duncan Duo, and I got Richard Vazquez from Artisan Insurance Group. And so pretty common real estate scam going on right now around wire frauds. And, so I want to give you some information on this, whether you're, working in real estate, whether you're buying or selling a home, whether you know a family member that is, this is something that's really, really important because there are scammers out there from outside of the country that are using some pretty savvy methods to get your bank account wiring instructions, bank account numbers from you, and then taking your wire transfer. So the very first and most important thing that I would tell you, is if you're in this situation, you're buying or selling a home, and you get wiring instructions, the very first thing that you want to do is call that person and verify them. Wiring instructions generally, I think a lot of times they're frowning upon sending them via email. You want to call and get those over the phone to be safest. But if you do happen to get them via email, call and verify them with the actual source at the local number. Secondly, just common email practice. A lot of these scammers, what they're basically doing is they're figuring out real estate agents in a transaction, and they're mirroring or scamming or getting information off of that person's computer. And then they're using a fake email account that makes you think that it's that person. So for example, if someone wanted to spoof me, let's say I've got a customer right now that's closing and my email's andrew@theduncanduo.com. Well, what they would go out and do, and they would put, Andrew Duncan at, duncandop.com, or they'd buy a domain name, or they'd use a Gmail, and they'd make it look like it's me, even setting up the signature, all of that. And then they'd send an email to the customer and say, hey, here's where you should wire the money. So the thing that you want to look at is if you get an email like that and you're talking about sending a lot of money around, look at the email address. If you're suspicious, if it's not an actual at the Duncan Duo, for example, email, be suspicious. But nonetheless, then seek to call that person to confirm the information. You're talking about tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars in some instances. You want to make sure that the email that you got is from the actual person you need to wire to, and then you want to verbally verify those instructions.
It actually happened to Atlantic Bay, and our closers now are instructed to always call and verbally verify the numbers, but we were going to fund a loan, which was $200,000+ from my understanding, and it was a law office, and the hacker had changed the W in law to 2 V's. So it still looked like a W when it came across.
That's really savvy.
Yeah, right. So, and when you said Andrew, I was thinking someone could change your W
to VV.
Right, and it's going to look like a W when it comes across.
They couldn't get at the DuncanDuo.com. They'd have to use a Gmail, or they could get the DuncanDuo1.com.
Right.
I mean, they'll go buy a domain name that looks the same. I mean, they'll spend $10 to buy a domain. I mean, they'll put some effort into it, so you got to be really cautious. Verbal is the only way you should be verifying it. The second thing is if you get wiring instructions from a real estate agent, that's another no-no. Some of these scammers are sending them as real estate agents. Real estate agents should not be sending wire instructions. I mean, we stay out of that as best we can. That should come from the title company. And the wiring instructions change so often. You used to be able to just save them. You'd save this title companies, and the agents would save them. But now they're changing the accounts constantly to attempt to prevent this. But yeah, it should come from the actual escrow agent, the title company. If it's coming from the real estate agent, again, same thing, be suspicious. Call your real estate agent, verify that's them, number one. And number two, tell them to stop doing it. And then number three, call the title company, get them directly from the title company. So, there are a lot of scams out there where people are doing that. They're wiring money to these scammers, and, a lot of times they can get it stopped, but sometimes they can't. And then what ends up happening is you just lost a bunch of money, and your closing is in jeopardy. And,
there's no way to get that money back.
No.
I know somebody who it happened to.
Yeah, so you should only wire money to the actual title company, and you should verify those figures verbally with the actual closer. So don't fall for it. Don't accept email wiring instructions. Don't accept them from your real estate agent. Get them from the title company or the law office, and then secondarily verbally verify them before you wire the money. And it's interesting because a lot of title companies went to the whole wire transfer thing because it was quicker, it was cleaner, and they said less fraud. But I think some of them are starting to loosen on that because of all this issues. They're starting to be like, okay, well, maybe checks aren't so bad. Maybe we can verify a signature. Maybe checks aren't such a bad thing. So, but nonetheless, don't fall for it. It's something that's really common. There's so many other scams. There's a Craigslist rental scam that's going on out there. There's real estate agents that aren't really real estate agents. That are operating as real estate agents and not really licensed, and it really does require you to be alert and use common sense. In the real estate market, there's definitely a lot of scams out there. So if you're buying or selling a home, hopefully this was helpful for you, and you don't end up making that mistake of sending money to the wrong place, and some guy in Nigeria is celebrating, thanking you for giving him $27,000 of your money.
I actually saw a really funny meme about that the other day. It was the Nigerian soccer team, and it said the Nigerian soccer teams played so bad they've agreed to refund all their fans the money. They just need your social, your date of birth, and your account number.
Yeah, it's funny. All right, we're going to be back with the next segment of the Duncan Real Estate Show after a quick break here at 9:70.